Hello, welcome back to Steve's Corner. Been in trouble with the law since the day he was born. That's old Waylon Jennings song from what Dukes of Hazzard, and it describes my boy perfectly. Don't get me wrong, man. He was a heck of a nice kid. He's a good kid, and he's turned into a fine young man. To be honest with you, but seemed like trouble followed him everywhere, and he wasn't in trouble with the law, so to speak. From the time he was born, he was a toddler. It was probably I don't know, 8 months old, 10 months maybe. He was still in his crib. One Friday night, about 2 o'clock in the morning. I guess it was actually Saturday morning. Jeffville County called me. Said they had my boy in jail. Needed to come pick him up. I fought with that guy on that line. I said, man, ain't no way that's my boy. I said, man, he's asleep across the hall. He says, are you sure? I said, I'm positive. He says, well, we got him down here. I don't know who you think you got over there. Did he skip out? I said, no, man. And then I got to thinking, hey, man, it might be daggone a cousin of mine called me, want me to come bail him out so he wouldn't have to get his parents involved in it. But it wasn't. Because I asked him, I said, hey, man, how old's that guy? Because my cousin's only a couple years younger than I am. And he told me he was like 24 or something like that. And man, I said, man, ain't no way that's my boy. I says, I'm only 28. I was 28, 29 maybe. I says, mine sleep across the hall like I told you. So he says, hey, man, this guy must give me the wrong number. I says, he said, sorry about that. But I was on the phone with him probably 15 minutes. I guess he thought I was still sleeping. That's the kind of hard luck my boy had. Jake's his name. He's my baby at 30. He'll be 30 in a couple of weeks. My daughter just turned 34 just a couple of weeks ago, first of the month. And he caught heck like that all the time, man. He come out full growed though. I always tease him and said he come out with a full beard and a born to kill tattoo. He was a big baby, according to my daughter anyways. She was only like 7 pounds, about 19 inches or something like that. He was over 10, and he was I think he was pretty close to 24 inches. I think it was 22, 23 inches. I might be wrong, might have only been 21, but still that ain't that far from 2 feet long. The fella used to live down the street from us. He was only about 5 foot, I believe. And he was always amazed that Jake come out, almost half as tall as he was, and he was 50 years old. But he got busted in school one time for skipping class. They called up here and said he was there for homeroom but never showed up for first period. And the wife talked to them. He said, man, there ain't no way that's right. He says, we were out of town that weekend. I think it was, or that week. I think we had a family emergency down in South Carolina we had to go to, because we had to call him and say, hey, man, he ain't going to show up today. So we had something we had to take care of. And that principal told us, man, I don't know what to tell you, but he was marked here for homeroom, but first period, he never showed up. And she says, there ain't no way. We was gone. She said, we were probably in North Carolina by the time you even took roll call. So it was junk like that. He always got busted for. Hard to believe he growed up to be such a decent person. It happened over and over and over. It was just a few years ago. He flew out to Seattle. Buddy Harris was leaving. I think it's Fort Wainwright up in Alaska, but he had gotten transferred from there all the way down to Fort Bragg, down there, a couple hours down the road here. Well, he flew out to Seattle, helping drive cross country. That boy had a couple of weeks. He figured he'd drive home. They had a good time. But I think they were in Oregon somewhere. And Jake was standing outside the truck. Some guy walks up to him. I guess he thought he was a day worker or something. And say, hey man, I got some work to do. You want to come help me? Jake says, no, not really. He says, we're getting ready to leave. He just, he's the nicest, gentlest kind of fella you want to meet too, Doc. You know, I don't know. I don't know what his mama did to make him such a decent person. I didn't have much to do with it. I was too busy on the job. Hey man, kids are great, man. They keep you busy. They tend to be a lot of work, but man, they're so well worth it. I'm telling you, it's enjoyable. It's enjoyable to sit back and think about it. When they come by, we'll talk about things that happen, you know, and it's just a lot of fun. I was thinking about him this morning for some reason. I don't know what I was thinking about, but that come to me. He actually had a song made about him. Old Waylon sung one too called Looking Back, Texas. First line of that is, what's that? Only two things in life that make it worth living is guitars tuned good and firm, feeling women. I heard that one time when I was still working on my way home from work. I walked in the house, walked up to the baby and gave her a big bear hug. Said, hey baby, I didn't know that Waylon Jennings had made a song about you. She said, what you talking about, Steve? I says, then I started singing that song. She said, you better get your butt away from me. I said, man, I didn't even know y'all knew each other. Sitting out here in the garden today, man. Got some cucumbers now, about like that, probably about that big around. A little bit of tomato over here. Starting to have a little bit of problem with some of my blooms falling off my tomatoes. I'm gonna have to go check and see what caused that. And I see if I can have to get a chemical or something to fix that. Got plenty of blooms, but I got a couple of them that kind of dried up and fell off. I'm gonna have to check on that. Got peppers coming on, squash. And man, I got a bunch of squash over there, about the size like the baby likes. I like them bigger, with about that big around, and slice them widthwise like that, and deep fry them. She likes the smaller ones, and she'll slice them, I guess, the same way and put them in a pan with some oil. I like mine wrapped in flour and salt and pepper, cooked in grease. Eat them like tater chips like that, man. They're good. I mean, that is great. We first got married, she said she had made some fried squash. I went in there, I couldn't find them nowhere. She says, they're right there on the stove. I said, dog, if I can find them, baby. Her idea of fried squash and mine are totally different. But anyways, I was out there messing around in the garden. I figured I'd sit down and make a little quick video. And some reason that come to me about my boy. Hard to believe I got a couple of youngins almost old enough to be president. With 34 and 30. They'll be this summer. That can't be mine. I ain't that daggone old. Y'all take care of yourselves, man. We'll talk to y'all later.